Good evening. I'm Pastor Alex, and thank you for joining Storytime with us this evening. We have a little longer story for you this evening. Last couple of weeks we've read from the Bible. This week I actually just got a new book in the mail, actually this morning, that I want to share with you today. It's called St. Francis and the Animals. It is written by Phil Gallery and illustrated by Sibyl Mackenzie. It is a mother bird story. So for those of you that do not know who St. Francis is, which may be many of you, but I've talked about him before, that's actually the reason that I have a tau cross that I always wear, is because in the Lutheran Church there's an order of Lutheran Franciscans, which I am a member of, and that's why I wear a brown robe as well. That is what St. Francis and his brothers would wear, and still Franciscans to this day. So story about Francis just talks about his love for all of creation and all animals. So let us begin as Mother Bird begins her story. The big day for Benjamin Bird's first flight had arrived. "May I go now, Mother?" he asked. "No, my dear. Before you go, I must tell you the story of our human friend. His name is Brother Francis." "Do you have to?" asked Benjamin. "Yes, my son," answered Mother Bird, "and you must remember every word, because one day you must tell your children the story." So Mother Bird began her wondrous tale. Our friend, Brother Francis, was born in the nearby town of Assisi. There's Mother Bird and Benjamin Bird. Beautiful illustrations in this book. When Brother Francis was a young boy, Mother Bird continued, he was kind and generous and had many friends. "Will I have lots of friends, Mother?" asked Benjamin Bird. "Yes," answered Mother Bird, "if you are kind and generous." "Now, Benjamin," Mother Bird added gently, "I must get on with my story. Francis's father was a rich man, and he gave him many things, including a brave and beautiful horse. When our friend was young, he lived to dress in colorful clothes and ride his horse through the countryside around Assisi. He would play his mandolin and sing songs about heroic adventure. He dreamed that one day he would be a hero and people would sing songs about him." So there's a young Francis and his horse, the rooster over there. But then one day, Brother Francis rode his brave horse out of Assisi in search of adventure. "What kind of adventure, Mother?" "He was going to join an army in places he did not yet know. Remember, Benjamin, he wanted to be a hero. But on the way, the maker of all things told him to return home. Our friend was sad because he thought he was never going to become a great hero. Brother Francis felt sad and uncertain. What would he do now? But by the time he got home, Francis wasn't sad anymore. He patted Brother Horse and thanked him for helping him to feel better." And Francis and Brother Horse, dressed like a knight. Mother Bird paused. Benjamin Bird flapped his wings. "A horse and a man can't be brothers," he said, scratching his head. "Brother Francis says we are all brothers and sisters, my dear. Just listen," she said, and continued her tale. One day, while walking down a road with his friends, Brother Francis noticed that the woods were full of all kinds of birds. He left his companions and ran into the woods. The birds watched as he ran toward them, but not one bird moved. When Francis was in the middle of the birds, he began to talk to them. "But, Mother, people don't do that. People don't talk with us," Benjamin Bird said, as he looked at all the birds gathering in the trees among them. "Brother Francis did, my dear." Birds in the trees. And then you see all the brothers right there. "Our friend told our brother and sister birds that they must always thank God for the feathers he gave them to wear and the wings he gave them to fly." As Brother Francis was speaking, the birds flew to him. Some landed on the ground nearby, and some landed on his arms and head. Then he told our brother and sister birds to fly off into the sky that God has given them for their home, and to be joyful. "Wait, Mother, Please tell me, who is God? Asked Benjamin Bird. God is the maker of all things, answered Mother Bird. So there's Francis and some birds. Different types of birds, very colorful birds. May I try flying now, Mother? Asked Benjamin, hopping up and down with excitement. Not yet. I must finish my story first, she said. She continued. One day, Brother Francis met a fisherman who had caught a fish. Our friend asked the fisherman to give him the fish. The fisherman did. Then Francis addressed Brother Fish with love and concern, saying, Be more careful and try not to get caught again. Then he gently put the fish back in the water, and the fish swam away. So fisherman, Brother Francis, kneeling down and put the fish in the water. One sunny summer day, Brother Francis was walking in the woods, and he heard a weak, sad sound coming from among the trees. He followed the sound and found a small rabbit whose foot was caught in a trap. Francis knelt next to the frightened bunny and gently released her leg from the awful trap. He held Sister Rabbit in his hands, and he told her she too must be more careful. When he was finished talking to Sister Rabbit, he laid her on the ground, but she jumped right back into his arms. So then Francis walked deeper into the woods and set her down again, and she hopped away. Benjamin Bird flapped his wings. Is your story over now, Mother? He asked. Almost, my dear. I have one more tale to tell. Brother Francis holding Sister Rabbit. So for this evening, we're actually going to end the story there. So this is part 1. We will conclude next week with part 2. So as you go about the rest of your evening, think about how you interact with creation, whether it be your pets or even out in the wild with, you see animals out there. You know, one thing that I saw this past week, I was out for a bike ride on the Orchard Trail, and I saw a snake on the corner of the trail and went slithering off as I approached it. And then just a little ways down, I saw a doe and her fawn. So it's creation all around us. And Brother Francis would have said that that those were, he would have conversations with them, and that that was all part of God's creation as well, which it is. So as we go about the rest of our evening and prepare for bed, can we put our hands together and bow our heads and do a repeat after me prayer? Dear God, thank you for creating all things and letting us rejoice in their beauty. Amen.